When Beyoncé walked into the senator's rally, the room's energy flipped in a heartbeat. The senator, mid-speech, faltered, his voice catching as he spotted her. "What's she doing here?" he snapped, glaring at security. But Beyoncé, radiant and unshaken, was already stepping forward. In 20 seconds, she'd reshaped the moment, and by the end of this story, you'll see how 1 minute sparked a movement no one saw coming. Stay with me. It was just another packed event at the Riverfront Arena in Baton Rouge, the crowd primed for the senator's fiery rhetoric. The stage glowed. Flags lined the walls, supporters filling every seat, some waving signs, others chanting. Security was tripled backstage, expecting a smooth night. The senator swaggered out, all confidence, to thunderous cheers. Then, from the press section's edge, a figure emerged, elegant, purposeful, her presence undeniable. Whispers spread like wildfire. It was Beyoncé, global icon, activist, her steps steady, unhurried. No one expected her here, not in this charged space, and what she did next. "You'll want to wait for it." The senator's grin faded. "Hold up, what's going on?" he said into the mic, chuckling to mask his unease. "This ain't a concert." Phones flashed, cameras swiveled, live streams buzzing. Security started forward, but Beyoncé raised a hand, not defiant but clear. "1 minute," she said, her voice smooth, firm, slicing through the chaos. "Then I'm out." The room stilled. Even the senator paused, thrown by her poise. A heckler in a red cap shouted, "Go back to the stage." But others hushed him. Beyoncé stood tall, eyes sweeping the crowd. "I was invited," she said, voice steady. "No edge." "By Councilman James Reed. He couldn't make it. So I came." Facing the senator, she added, "You talk about bringing us together. Let me try." Security slowed, uncertain. The senator gripped the podium, forcing a laugh. "This isn't your show, superstar," he said. "Go drop an album." Some chuckled, but Beyoncé didn't waver. "I'm not here to perform," she said. "I'm here because this country's bigger than one voice, even yours." That landed hard. The senator shifted, jaw tight. "Not happening," he muttered, waving to security. But a voice cut through, an older man in a trucker hat. "Let her speak." A woman in a denim jacket echoed, "Give her a chance." It wasn't a chorus, but it shifted the air. Phones were everywhere, capturing every word. The senator, rattled, gestured to the mic. "Fine, 1 minute. Make it count." Beyoncé didn't rush. She stepped closer, just shy of the stage, hands relaxed, gaze steady. "I'm not here to divide," she began. "This isn't about politics. It's about us, as people. I grew up in Houston, not far from here, dreaming in a world that didn't always listen. But shutting out voices? That's not strength." Her words carried, wrapping the room in quiet. Phones lowered as people leaned in. "I don't need your cheers," she continued. "I just want you to remember we're all part of this country, even when we see it differently. If that scares us, we're already losing." Silence settled, heavy, real. The senator stood silent, arms crossed. Beyoncé nodded once, stepped back, and said, "I'm done." But the moment held. A clap started, hesitant, then another, not overwhelming but enough to crack the quiet. The senator reclaimed the mic, forcing a smile. "All right, she's had her say," he said, voice tight. "Let's get back to business." But the energy wasn't his anymore. A young man in a red jacket stood. "Ms. Knowles, I don't agree with you." But that was real, he called. The senator tried to laugh it off. "Well, look at that. We're all friends now," he said. But it fell flat. Reporters rushed to post clips. Security eased off. Beyoncé took a seat near the exit, calm, unshaken. The senator dove into his speech. But the crowd was off. Some whispering, others scrolling. Someone shouted, "Why not answer her?" Murmurs followed. The senator snapped, "I don't need to. She's got her opinion. I've got mine." Beyoncé rose again. No theatrics, just presence. She walked toward the aisle, pausing to face the crowd. "I didn't come for attention," she said, voice low but piercing. "Maybe some of you came to hear something real. Not perfect, just real." And she left. But that wasn't the end. Wait till you hear what happened outside. By the time she reached the parking lot, her phone buzzed endlessly, texts, alerts, clips spreading fast. A shaky video hit Twitter, raw, unedited, pulling 25,000 likes in minutes. Comments flooded. Beyoncé didn't yell, just spoke. Respect changed the room without a fight. Inside, the senator pushed through his talking points, but the rhythm was gone. The crowd's focus lingered on that moment, some replaying the clip, others debating in hushed tones. By night, news channels looped it, headlines calling it a rare call for unity. Some dismissed it as a publicity stunt, but it felt too raw, too human. It wasn't just what she said, it was how she said it, and what came after will surprise you. Backstage, the senator paced like a caged lion. "Who let her in?" he demanded, voice sharp. An aide stammered. "She had Reed's pass, sir. It checked out." The senator scoffed, tossing a water bottle. "Fix this. I want names." His advisor, calmer, spoke up. "She didn't attack, didn't raise her voice. That's why it's everywhere now. People aren't talking about your speech." The senator glared at a monitor, Beyoncé's face frozen mid-sentence. "Calm, focused. Too polished, he muttered. That was planned. But deep down he knew it wasn't. His team scrambled to draft a response, but the moment had slipped from their grasp. Outside, Beyoncé's car was mobbed, not with anger but with curiosity. A small group of attendees approached. A woman, a teacher in her 50s, stepped forward. "Ms. Knowles," she said, voice trembling. "I've never voted your way, but you made me think tonight." "Thank you." Beyoncé nodded, her eyes warm. "You listened," she said. "That's enough." Another man, a mechanic in a faded LSU cap, added, "I came for the senator, but I'm leaving with something else." What he said next. It's coming up. Later in her hotel suite, Beyoncé sat with her team, the city's lights flickering outside. "I didn't expect them to listen," she said quietly, sipping tea. "You didn't expect them to clap either," her aide, Carla, replied. "But they did." Beyoncé shook her head, a faint smile. "I just wanted them to see a person, not a star." Her phone buzzed again. A text from her mother. "You spoke like we raised you." Proud. Carla scrolled through Twitter, eyes wide. "It's at 100,000 likes now," she said. "Even people who hate politics are sharing it." Beyoncé leaned back. "That's the sad part," she said. "All I did was speak without yelling, and that's news." But the story doesn't stop there. Something bigger was brewing, and you'll see it unfold soon. The next morning, Beyoncé visited a local community center, unannounced, to meet with youth organizers. A volunteer recognized her, whispering to others. Word spread, and soon a small crowd gathered, not for selfies but for conversation. A teenager, dreads tied back, asked, "How do you talk to people who won't listen?" Beyoncé paused, thoughtful. "You don't force them," she said. "You show up, say your truth, and trust they'll hear it eventually." Like last night. The room nodded, some taking notes. But what happened later that day would take this moment even further. By noon, the clip had hit 1 million views. Cable news dissected it. Pundits split. Some called it a masterclass in civility, others a calculated move. But the rawness of the video, the shaky camera, Beyoncé's unscripted words made it hard to dismiss. On X, a thread went viral. She didn't need a stage. She owned the room by being real. Another user, a self-described conservative, posted, "I don't like her politics, but I respect her for this." The senator's team tried to pivot, releasing a statement about uninvited disruptions, but it felt hollow. At a diner near the arena, locals replayed the clip on their phones. A waitress, wiping down tables, paused. "I've never cared about rallies," she said, "but she made me feel something." A man at the counter, a retired cop, nodded. "She didn't scream. That's why I listened." Their conversation sparked something else. Stick around to see what. That afternoon, Beyoncé met a local reporter, Maya Ellis, who'd covered Louisiana politics for years. "Why take the risk?" Maya asked. Recorder rolling. Beyoncé leaned forward, hands folded. "Silence feels worse," she said. "I've faced louder crowds, tougher rooms. What scares me more is when we stop trying to hear each other." Maya pressed. "Did you expect them to listen?" Beyoncé's eyes softened. "I expected them to choose. Most chose to stay." Maya paused and asked, "What's next?" Beyoncé smiled faintly. "Keep showing up," she said. "Not for headlines, but for people." That interview clip would later go viral too. But something even bigger was about to happen. Don't miss it. Back at the arena, the energy never settled. No one talked about the senator's promises. They talked Beyoncé. That minute of stillness. A vendor outside, a lifelong Republican, admitted, "I didn't vote for her." Crowd, but she said it better than most. During a break, a group of attendees lingered near the coffee stand, debating, not shouting. A college student, phone in hand, said, "I posted the clip and my dad, who's all about the senator, texted me. She's got a point." By evening, Beyoncé's team fielded invites, town halls in Atlanta, a PBS special, even a Fox News segment. Carla laid out the offers. "This could be huge," she said. Beyoncé shook her head. "I didn't do it for that," she said. "I did it because I'm tired of hearing real Americans like I'm not one." Carla nodded, closing her laptop. "Do you regret it?" she asked. Beyoncé exhaled. "I regret that it felt rare," she said. "Speaking truth quietly shouldn't be radical." Upstairs, her sister Solange called, her voice warm. "You changed something tonight," she said. "Wait till you see what's coming." And what came next? It's worth the wait. 2 days later, Beyoncé was back in Houston, walking through her old neighborhood. No entourage, just her. A neighbor, an older woman, waved her over. "Saw you on TV," she said. "My son, he's a senator fan, but he watched your clip 5 times. Said it made him think." Beyoncé smiled. "That's all I wanted," she said. But the neighbor wasn't done. "He's meeting his friends tonight to talk about it," she added. That small ripple was growing, and you'll see how big it got. The moment kept spreading. A high school teacher in Baton Rouge showed the clip in class, sparking a debate that ran past the bell. A church group in New Orleans discussed it at their weekly meeting, some disagreeing, others nodding. On X, a hashtag Beyoncé Speaks trended, with thousands sharing stories of crossing divides. One post read, "My uncle's a diehard conservative. He watched Beyoncé's clip and said, 'I don't agree, but I hear her.'" The senator, meanwhile, struggled to regain traction. At his next rally, he tried to brush it off. "We had a little cameo last time," he joked, but the crowd's laughter was thin. His team pushed ads, but the conversation stayed on Beyoncé. A leaked memo from his campaign revealed panic. "She's reframing the narrative. We need to counter." But how do you counter quiet truth? The answer's coming. A week later, Beyoncé attended a small event at a Houston youth center, speaking to teens about civic engagement. A girl, maybe 16, raised her hand. "How do you stay calm when people hate you?" she asked. Beyoncé paused, choosing her words. "You don't let their noise become yours," she said. "I was nervous at that rally, but I knew why I was there." Find your why, and the rest follows. The room erupted in applause, but Beyoncé waved it off. "Don't clap for me," she said. "Clap for yourselves. You're the ones who'll keep this going." That moment, too, was filmed, shared, and spread. But the real turning point came days later. Stay tuned. Across the country, the rally moment inspired small acts. A man in Ohio, inspired by Beyoncé, spoke at a city council meeting for the first time. A woman in Georgia organized a community dialogue citing the clip. In Baton Rouge, a group of senator supporters and Beyoncé fans met at a coffee shop, not to argue but to listen. They called it the Beyoncé table, and it became a weekly thing. Back in Baton Rouge, the arena's staff still talked about that night. A security guard who'd almost escorted Beyoncé out admitted, "I'm glad we didn't. She said something we all needed." A janitor, overhearing, nodded. "My wife showed me the clip. We don't vote the same, but we both felt it." The senator's campaign, meanwhile, faced fallout. A donor pulled funding, citing lost momentum. His advisor warned, "This isn't dying down. She's set a new tone." The senator, watching another news segment, muttered, "She had the room for a minute. I'll give her that." But it was more than a minute. It was a shift, and what it sparked will blow you away. Beyoncé stayed local, visiting schools, meeting organizers, ignoring the national spotlight. Her team begged her to capitalize, but she refused. "I'm not a politician," she said. "I'm a neighbor." That choice, that grounding, made the moment bigger. By the 2-week mark, #Beyoncé Speaks had inspired events in 10 cities, dialogues no one scripted. A CNN anchor called it the quiet revolution, but Beyoncé shrugged it off. "I just spoke," she told a friend. They chose to listen. The final twist came at a Baton Rouge town hall, unannounced. Beyoncé didn't attend, but the teacher who'd approached her that night did. She stood, nervous, and spoke. "I was at the rally," she said. "Beyoncé showed me we can disagree and still see each other. I'm here to keep that going." The room clapped, not just for her, but for the idea. A man in the back, a senator supporter, stood. "I didn't like her being there," he said, "but I'm here now. Let's talk." That conversation, raw and real, was streamed live, shared by thousands. It wasn't Beyoncé's voice this time, it was theirs, and that's what she'd wanted. The moment wasn't about her, it was about what we do next. What do you think? Drop your thoughts below. If this story moved you, hit subscribe. We're diving into the moments that matter, the ones they can't ignore. Stay blessed, and wait till the end to see how one voice can spark 1,000.